It seems the United States is about to engage in a full-scale war against Venezuela. Let's unpack why this is happening. The first thing we need to get off the bat is that this has nothing to do with human rights or democracy. If the United States cared about human rights and democracy, they would not be allied with countries such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. There are 4 reasons why the United States wants to invade Venezuela. Let's start off with the 2 most obvious reasons. First of all, it's about the oil. Venezuela actually has the largest proven reserves of oil in the world. The second reason is because Venezuela has become a symbol of anti-imperialism. Now, I actually don't really care if you like the Venezuelan government or not. The truth of the matter is Venezuela is seen as a country that is resistant to the United States, and it absolutely has resisted the United States. The United States has imposed very onerous sanctions on Venezuela, and despite that being the case, the Venezuelan government has actually not, for instance, collapsed or fallen apart. And in fact, actually other countries like Colombia, for instance, and even Brazil to a certain extent, have actually increasingly shown solidarity with Venezuela. So if Venezuela is able to last and survive, then the United States sees that as a big threat because that can inspire other countries. For instance, we even saw recently in Ecuador a referendum that rejected the presence of a proposed U.S. base in Ecuador. So again, Venezuela is becoming a symbol of resistance in the Western Hemisphere, and the United States sees this as a threat. And that goes to my third point. This is about the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine is a 200-year-old policy of the United States that tries to keep the whole Western Hemisphere under its influence. So for instance, that's why you see, for instance, over the last 50, 60, 70 years, so many coups, so many invasions, whether it's in Panama, Chile, wherever it may be, the United States is always involved in coups, sanctions, CIA operations, because it wants to keep the whole Western Hemisphere to itself. But the fourth and final factor I want to talk about, because these 3 factors I've talked about have always been there to a certain extent, at least for the last 20 years, we need to think about timing. Why is the United States doing this right now? The 4th reason is it's all about a distraction. Right now in the United States, the economy is not doing well, unemployment's increasing, and the cost of living is also increasing. And we also have this huge cache of Epstein files that has just recently been agreed by the Senate and Congress to be released. That's going to be very damaging for many elites, including possibly Donald Trump, actually most likely Donald Trump, unless they redact everything. So engaging in a war is a great way to distract from your failing economy and the, pedophile elites that run your country. That's why this is occurring. It's about the oil, it's about anti-imperialism in Venezuela, it's about the Monroe Doctrine, and it's a distraction from the economy and, of course, the Epstein files as well. Now, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that this invasion doesn't occur. Unfortunately, it seems like that is going to be the case very soon. Thank you. Please like, share, and comment. I really appreciate it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below.